So we're very excited to welcome this gentleman here sitting next to me on the couch. He's a producer, MC, video director, a great writer, but more importantly, a model of perseverance, I think. Won't you please welcome Ka?
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, Red Bull, for having me. Thanks, Jeff, for another opportunity to sit and chat with you. I appreciate the people. I know y'all know who I am, so thanks for even being patient and coming back in the room. So
You're too modest. I've told you this before, but you're too modest. You make music that is deeply personal. People have used different adjectives to describe it, but I'm kind of curious to know you yourself. How would you describe it to the folks in the room here?
to me, it's therapeutic. I mean, if I wasn't doing it, then I'd probably be crazy. Not saying I'm not crazy now, but I'd be more crazy if I wasn't able to just vent and just get all of this stuff out and just kind of purge, you know. And then that's what each album is. It's like a purge. Like, I could chill and be normal for a little while until it's pent up again, then I gotta do it again. So it's more personal than anything.
I would like to just sort of reset our ears with a piece of music from Ka. This is from...
Please don't boo. That's just... don't boo.
This is from his most recent release, which is entitled Honor Killed the Samurai, and it is called Conflicted.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wanted to play this song because it's kind of a fitting introduction, in a way, to you. It lays out a number of different things about your subject matter, the themes you explore, the sound of it as well. But just, what do you feel like this song evokes?
Well, it was the first song on the new album, and it was like every album I do, like I'm introduced like people that don't know me, like, you know. So every album is a new album. It's the introduction of me to someone. So I wanted them to know like the duality of man, and I'm just showing you this in a song. And so that was like, you know, my mother always told me to be good. My father was, not that he didn't tell me to be good, but he was hood. You know, my father was a hood dude. So I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. You know, you hear it. So, you know, I'm from a time when Brooklyn, before the gentrification, it was rough out. You know, I was in high school in '86. I'm so sorry you wasn't even born in '86, or, you know, but I saw a lot. And so, you know, a lot of the things, the gutter things that was going on, I was dealing with. And my mom was trying to protect me from it. My father was trying to protect me from it another way by taking an offensive stance at it. So, you know, I was like, I'm hearing it from both sides. Like, you know, be a good boy. My pops was like, you got a gun, right? Like, you know, so it was things like that, you know, that was going on in for me. And I just, you know, that was just the song for that.
You have a different theme or motif that you explore on your most recent albums, I guess for the last 3 or 4. Honor Killed the Samurai is the title of this project. I'm just curious as to what it was about that culture that drew you to it. What was compelling about that you could relate to?
Well, I really it was, you know, like every album I'm like trying to learn, you know, like I'm reading more now. Like I'm trying to, you know, I wasn't really too good in school. So like now this is my opportunity to become smarter man or whatever. So like every album is like, I'm doing an album to do an album, but I'm also like, yo, I can study now and learn. So I was diving into, growing up, I was like in the karate flicks. And then, you know, then I saw like the Japanese flicks where it wasn't all the pageantry of the karate flicks. It was just one sword swipe, fight is over. I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, this ain't exciting. But growing up, I was like, yo, became dope to me. So I'm like, so I just started diving into what a samurai was. And then, you know, their code of honor, and I was like, this is just dope. And I started getting into it more and more, and I'm on it now. And you know, I think them taking their lives for honor was just something that I felt like I was doing for my art. Like, you know, like hip hop and the aspect of hip hop that I do, like I pride myself in the lyrics. I feel like that's not really important as much anymore in the art of hip hop. Like it's a lot more style now, and again, you know who you are, but just that pen, like I want my pen to be perfect. That's what I'm striving to be an amazing writer. Nobody really care about that really, like, you know what I'm saying, in the art right now, you know, but I care about it, so I'm gonna make sure that I'm right. So it's like I'm, in samurai perspective, like I'm hurting my maybe career, maybe from outlookers, you know, me, I'm good, but, you know, from other people, they like, you know, you writing all these rhymes, but you're not on the radio, you ain't really, but I don't really care about it. I'm doing what I want to do. So the honor and the samurai thing, I'm taking my life in a way to treasure what I treasure. So that's what that was from.
I mean, what does honor mean to you? I mean, do you see it out here? You know, is it something in life? Do you encounter people here and there that you feel that there's a shortage of, or is it just something you embraced because of your own experiences?
Well, just like I've always been around people of honor, and to me, it's just you following your path and not like compromising. Like this is my passion. This is what I want to do. Yeah, it's not popping. It's not what's popping right now, but a man of honor is gonna do, a person of honor is gonna do what they do, regardless of what the outside is saying. So that's me. I'm doing what I do, regardless of what the noise might be. So that's honorable, as far as artistically honorable to me. I'm not saying I don't really know. I'm not a sociable dude as far as like peers, you know, like I speak to a couple cats, you know, but on a whole, it's not I'm not really in the mix. So everybody that I know, honorable as far as their music, but I don't know the outside of what hip hop is, or, you know, so I don't know. But I would hope that they doing their passion. I would hope.
Right. So you mentioned Brownsville, Hull. Yeah, and Hull, Saratoga.
Hopkinson and Saratoga. Yeah, I don't think they call it Hopkinson anymore, but I always call it Hopkinson. I think they call it Thomas S. Boylan. But that's the block I was raised on, Hull Street. That's the block that molded me to be who I am. You know, I saw a lot of things on that block. Did a lot of things to rep that block when I was a kid. But yeah, that's 63 Hull Street was the address. You know, it was a different kind of living back then.
I'd like to actually run the first video, if we can, just to give us a little bit of additional context on Brownsville. This is probably a little bit before your time, but still sort of setting the atmosphere of what was going on. So if we could run that first video, that would be great. Thank you. So that's 1971.
Yeah, I was born in 72.
So obviously these things did not disappear in 1972 or in the years immediately after. What do you recall just on a day-to-day level, just living life as a kid amidst these circumstances?
It's funny because when you're born and raised in that, you don't even notice something is wrong. Like, you know, it's just until I started watching like Different Strokes, and I was like, well, we don't live like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, hey, that's what is this, right? But that was just normal. Like, you know, I used to play in abandoned buildings with my friends. We used to, you know, I caught the ringworms in the lot next door. I used to be able to see like 5 blocks down just through lots, and, you know, I could, you know, just what it was. And, you know, it was different. It was a different. I can't even to explain it to people who just like, yo, what is, like, I'm sure you're like appalled by that, but that was like, oh yeah, that's Chester Street. Like, you know, of course it looked like that, but you know, it was. I don't know. I didn't know until I got older that I was fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm like just having my whole formative years of going through that. Of course I'm like damaged from that, you know? And like the art right now is helping me kind of like heal, you know, through that. But yeah, I saw, you know, I would get candy from the dope fiends because, the dope fiends, if you don't know, they always like candy after they're high or whatever. So I would get candy from the dope fiends. And then the dope went away, and then I would, the crackheads came. And then, so it was just a lot of drugs, a lot of just violence, and it was crazy. But that's what made me, so.
Do you remember the moment when crack hit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember. It was like gradual, but, because, cocaine kind of came into, everything was weed and then dope, and then cocaine started moving in, but there was more like the fly kids were on cocaine. Like it was like they used to be smoking woos and bones. I don't know if the Wu-Tang songs you hear them talking about woos, right? They would like gut a cigarette out of the tobacco and fill it with cocaine and smoke it, and then a bone where they would like sprinkle some coke in the weed in the joint and they would blow, and then they started sniffing coke, and then I think that Richard Pryor thing, like when he was freebasing, which was the making of crack. I hope I'm not giving y'all no drug lesson. You don't need that. You know what I'm saying? But so they was freebasing, and then the freebasing went to crack, which was a quicker form of it. And as a kid, I used to see the vials on the corner, and I knew some other like kids younger than me. They used to be picking it up like, oh, I got a bunch of red ones, I got a bunch of blue ones, I got a bunch of gold ones, and they would be picking up crack vials, and then I knew the smell, like that's a funny smell. That's that's crack. The name crack came from the crackling of the when they smoked it would crackle, so they called it crack. And and when it hit, it just, if you thought that was bad, it got even worse. It was worse than that in the 80s. It was a nightmare. It was prostitutes on the corner of my block. It was, and then I was unfortunately, I was in a house with a lot of us. It was like at least 13 of us in the house, and of the 13, if you never lived with a crackhead, don't ever live with a crackhead. They will steal everything you have. So, from the transition of being cool and, recreational drugs to smoking crack, and then now you're a crackhead, it was whack living. So.
When did music become something that captivated you?
Well, again, I was born at the right time where disco was dying and hip hop came about, whatever this hip hop shit was, and they were speaking to me, and it was more like it's party music, and then I told you before, as soon as I was hearing like Melly Mel talk about bill collectors at my door, scare my wife when I'm not home and all that, and I can't walk through the park because it's crazy after dark, keep my hand on my gun because they got me on the run. I was like, oh, they talking to me, like this is what I'm seeing, like I'm not going to no parties, I'm out here in the street, and it's rough. And that's when it became like as an escape, like as a young kid, I was like, let me write a little something and try to be a rapper, and then then it became like that was the way for me to kind of just pull away from all the shit I'm seeing and just get a little my composition book and write. Yeah. So that's it. I've been doing that forever, and that's helped me out.
I mean, you were seeing obviously these things happening around you. At what point were you participating in any of this stuff?
Oh, early. My cousins. I was like the youngest of the cousins, so I had a lot of role models, bad role models, obviously, they were in it. You know what I mean? They selling coke, they selling crack. Being broke. I'd speak to my cousin a lot, like, yo, how we gonna sell some? I need some money too. I like that Bieber you got, and like these new shoes, I want that too. And I got introduced into just selling drugs, and I didn't have to go far to learn. Like I just talked to them like, yo, what we doing? How we doing this? And so I got into it. I didn't like it because it was weird to me. I guess I put it like this. My cousins was selling drugs. My aunt was on drugs. My cousin was selling drugs. His sister was on drugs. His brother was on drugs. It was like in the house we had drug dealers and drug takers, like all in the same house. It was just a weird dynamic. And I'm seeing this and I'm like, yes, I want to get money. But yes, also somebody's destroying my household too by just doing the same thing. So it was like, should I be greedy or should I be, like a remedy? I mean, I was young. This was too much to process at fucking 12 years old. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm just like, all right, fuck it. Let's just go make money and, let's walk around with guns because that's what everybody doing. We not fighting no more. We gonna have to start shooting each other. And that's just what it was. Like, so. it was weird. So yeah, I was thrown in. Like, you know, I'm surprised I'm here right now. So it's just good that I'm survived all that.
I mean, it's important to mention because I think, like, from the outside, you know, people who may have a more conservative perspective on things will say, well, just don't get involved. And it's not that simple.
Oh yeah, it's not that simple. It's like, you want to be the sucker in Brownsville? I don't think so. I mean, you don't want to be the sucker wherever y'all from, but to be a sucker where there's a bunch of predators, that ain't it. You know, and I wasn't a sucker. It was no way. You know, I'm gonna do what we doing. This is what we doing. I'm doing that. You know what I mean? So just to be not ostracized in the neighborhood. You know, like, yeah, you know, we got guns. We got guns too. So whatever.
I mean, Mike Tyson was from Brownsville.
Yeah,
he got picked on. Yeah,
exactly. That's what made him Tyson, right? Somebody like snapped the neck of one of his birds, and he became Tyson. You know what I mean? So, but see, when I was young, Tyson was already like, boom. Tyson was a multi-millionaire. But I remember Tyson coming through the block one day. Nice, you know. He had his. He might have came in a limo, which was classy back then, limousines. And there was a dude on the corner. His name was Meat, and he had a pigeon coop on the roof, and Tyson came through and messed with the pigeons. He even came through on Thanksgiving and gave like some turkeys out. You know, good dude, man. Good dude.
So when did you actually have the ambition to record, to take the rhyming thing more seriously? You said it was an escape. You know, how did that sort of gradually become more important to you?
One of my cousins who was getting money, he saw that, you know, I'm in my book. Like, what you writing all the time? Like, you know, his older cousin, my cousin Dion, the man. And he was like, what you writing, man? I'm like, yeah, I'm just writing my little raps. You know, let me hear something. And I wasn't good, but my family, he loved me. So he was just like, you know, as you tell little shorty to encourage him, yo, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Just keep getting better. So again, like I said, he was doing his thing. He was getting money. He gave me $1,000 in like 89, 90 or something like that. And he gave me $1 million. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yo, go to the studio, go do some music. And so that was like my entree into it. And it just made it serious. Back then, everything was demo. It's not like how right now, like $1,000, you can go make an album, put it on the internet. There was no internet back then, you know what I mean? So I had to go to the studio, you know, get somebody to make a beat for me. It was a process. And, you know, I had to pay for studio time, which was whatever, $100 an hour and all that, you know. And that's what the start was. And, you know, and then I just was like, yo, after that, I made connections. Because then you become like legit. Like, I got a real demo. Like, you know, it don't got to be good, but it's like, oh, he's serious about this. So now I can make connections with other people that's rapping. And, oh, yeah, you coming to the studio for free now, stuff like that.
Yeah. I guess eventually, at some point, one of the folks that you connected with later was Mr. Voodoo. Is that right?
Yeah, Mr. Voodoo. I'm sure they don't know who that is, but
Natural Element.
There was a crew in New York was called Natural Elements, and they were like an underground group, and they were getting a lot of acclaim. And one of the dudes, the head dude, the more famous of them, Mr. Voodoo. We went to school together. We went to City College together, and back then, as probably now, the loudest ones are the ones that don't do it so well. So I was doing it pretty loud, you know what I'm saying? So everybody knew I'm rhyming for everybody, you know. And so he was like, he must have saw something. I was like, yo, just come to the studio. So I got into this group called Natural Elements. Charlamagne was a producer. He produced for all of us. It was L Swift, Big Tim, Stex, G Blast. It was a bunch of us. Then we would go to the Bronx every Saturday and be in the studio, and he'd making beats for all of us. You know, and we, that's for you, this for you, and we battling for this beat and all that. But that helped me to know like how to structure a song. Because back then I was just writing rhymes. I had pages and pages and books, and I had a duffel bag of just raps on receipts and back of transfers on buses. Like I just was rapping just to rap. But they let me know like, okay, this is how you make a song. And you know, you break that up, and this is a bar right here, and this was a hook, this is a hook, and this is that. So with that, they helped me become a better artist. It was a progression to start making songs.
So do you think you were nice back then?
I was dead garbage back then. Yeah. I was trash back then. But it was I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew I had something to say. I just didn't. It takes time to find your voice. Some of y'all, some kids are prodigies. They got it like immediately. I was not a prodigy. It took me time to find my voice. Stages, and I got help through Natural Elements was one of the stages to get me to another plateau. Yeah. The next plateau was I did another group with my boy, God rest his soul, one of my best friends, Kev. We were in a group called Nightbreed, and this was in the later 90s, and he was stellar. So it stepped me up to be better. And, that was another plateau for me to reach, doing songs with him. And he's like, yo, I'm listening to the song. Like, yo, his parts are incredible, man. My part's kind of corny. Like, but this was my man. He loved me, you know what I'm saying? This was like, yo, we did songs, and eventually I got up to snuff. And then, that was another plateau. So.
You glossed over some of this stuff. You really don't want me to play any of this early stuff of yours.
Ooh, I mean,
you always say. I
gotta clap. I got the people clap for me. Please don't make them boo for me now, man. Like, come on, man.
No, I'm not gonna make them boo. But let's just give a little context. All right. This is a track, actually, Natural Elements featuring Ka. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm not gonna play the one.
Yeah, do your thing.
I'm not gonna play the one you hate.
I'm here.
Maybe you don't hate this one as much. It's called Triple Team.
All right. Thank you. So, you heard three voices. The two good voices you heard was Mr. Voodoo and L Swift. Then that was the other one. At that time, the more gravelly voice was K.A. That's who I was before Ka. So yeah, that was me.
Now you decided to step away from this group. Why?
Because I was bad. I felt like I was holding it back. I was like, yo, these kids are dope. Like, you know what I mean? And there was a time where, like, again, like, I don't never want to hold nobody back. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, they could skyrocket if it wasn't for me. I knew I was bringing them down. But they were doing me a solid by putting me in the group, so I felt like I need to do them a solid and be like, yo, boom, go do your thing. And so I stepped away, and they filled that spot with a dude called A Butter, who was very, like, yo, he was, like, in pocket with them immediate, and they made some great music together. They actually got, as soon as I left, boom, they got signed by Tommy Boy. Great. And then I was happy for them. And then I went to go do the music with my boy from down the block, which was my man Kev.
So how does Nightbreed sound to you now?
It depends on what song you play. You know what I'm saying? But I love Nightbreed because that was more, like, that was my boy. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we were in each other's houses writing and talking about real experiences that we were doing at the time. So, I'll forever love Nightbreed. That's just one of my best friends.
Let's hear a little bit of Nightbreed, Two Roads Out the Ghetto.
Yeah, that was hard. That was a hard one right there. Yeah, that was my best friend, and he just died recently, so, I was just tough to hear his voice.
I think in addition to, obviously, the camaraderie that you can hear, you guys, I mean, you are already sort of forecasting how you want to approach this music, even in these things, which I know you kind of hear sometimes, and you're like...
I want to talk about real shit.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about real, not just, my raps. Like, I wanted to talk about what was going on,
At the same time, you stepped away again.
Yeah.
Can you sort of, I think this is an important part of your story, is like the different instances in which you decided, obviously incorrectly, that you're not good enough to do this, and you took a break or you stepped away. So what happened here?
Well, after that, like, we thought we were good. We thought we were gonna do it. Like, you know, like I started hearing that we sounded better. Like, I wasn't mad at that one. That was the first time I started being like, oh, you know, I ain't that bad, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we were doing songs and had singles and all that. But this is the time when, like, you know, everybody was rapping, you know, and everybody halfway sounded decent in New York, and you know, doing the lyricist lounges and doing all that. And we didn't get a record deal. We didn't get a deal, and like that's what it was. Like, you shop your demo rather, and then you get a record deal, and then it's on. Like, you know, and then you could do what you do. We didn't get one, but we kept grinding, and then it just got to a point where it's like, are we bugging? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, should we be like, you know, we got families, man. We you know, let's go get some money, and you know, let's, you know, my boy had as you heard in the song, he had a daughter, you know, at the time. So it was like, you know, should we be taking this childhood dream bullshit of being rappers and say fuck it and just go get some jobs, like, you know, just be men, you know? Because that's what it was. It was like, you know, you could be a dreamer for, you know, a little while, but then you got to start, you know, being like, yo, all right, this ain't us. This at the time, that's what I was thinking. So that's what happened. So we just quit, and we just like, yo, all right, this ain't happening for us. Let's just go get money.
But what happened? You came back to it.
Yeah. That's the thing is like it was a passion that I didn't know what a passion was until this hip hop shit, and it wouldn't let me go. Like, I couldn't stop. Like, I think about rhymes all the time. Like, like when I'm talking to somebody and they say something, I'm hearing the rhyme that's go perfect with that, or I'm listening to other people's songs and I'm like, he rhymed that wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he should have rhymed this. Like, that shit would have hit right. Like, so I couldn't stay away from this shit. It was like, I'm trying to. I'm like, I threw books away. I threw, like, all my notebooks away. I was like, I'm not doing this shit no more. Fuck this shit, ruin my life. You know what I mean? Like, but I couldn't stop, man. And, you know, so I came back with the help of, like, people that just love me and was like, yo, you good. Just do it, you know? So that's how I got back.
So what did you do? What did you work on?
I worked on an album that, you know, nobody's ever heard, but I started like getting back into it. Like, you know what? It was always group. This time it's just gonna be Ka. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, just do an album just for me, you know. And I worked on a couple albums, like, you know, to just get me right to the point that then I did Ironworks. You know what I'm saying? But Ironworks was an album that I did that wasn't supposed to go to anyone except the people that I love. Like, you know, for all these years, I'm telling yo, I'm going to studio. You say that studio shit for enough years, people are like, fuck you doing? Like, you know, I don't got nothing from you. How come I'm not hearing you on the radio? You talking to studio shit like you must, you know, like. So this was like, for all the people I was telling I'm going to the studio, I wanted to give them a CD, like, boom. You know, thanks for being my friend all these years. Boom, you know. So I did that first album, which there's really, I don't even know the date. 2007, maybe, I don't know.
2008?
2008, I think that's what I think people just gravitated to 2008. Yeah. But I think I just actually had it in people's hands. You know, I gave it to my cousins and I gave it to my friends, 2007. And it was an album that, the first, like, free material that I did, not free as far as money-wise, free as far as, I don't care, I didn't give a fuck what nobody thought. Like, this is my shit right here. I'm giving it to you. Love it or hate it, but this is me. This was my contribution to hip-hop. All these years, since I was 8 years old, wanted to be a rapper. I had nothing to show for it. I'm like, this is crazy. Let me do an album. And then, you know, technology was around to the point that I could do an album. And it wasn't an album/demo to like, yo, let's go. I'm doing an album, but I want the majors to hear it so I can get a record deal. No, so I'm doing an album, give it to you. As soon as I give it to you, you can use it as a Frisbee or you could bump it. It didn't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? And it was great to just finally do music like that. You know, it was like a breakthrough for me. Boom. I'm doing it like I'm an artist.
And it got into somebody's hands.
Yeah, my wife has a friend that knew a friend, then another friend's cousin. So anyway, it got to the hands of Jizza from the Wu-Tang, which I respected as, to me, one of the best lyricists, you know, ever in the craft. And he sat and heard it, and listened to it, which is weird because, you know, I know he get that, you know, CD all the time. So the fact that he listened to it, which like was a salute. He just listened to it. He heard it and was like, yo, Duke is nice. And he wanted to do a song with me, which I thought was just industry bullshit talk. Like, I'll do a song with him, like, you know. So I get a call when I'm at work one day from Jizza saying, yo, you know, I'm in the studio now. I want to do a joint with you. So I'm like, what? All right. So, you know, so I was like, so I left work, and I head to the studio, and I'm thinking it's gonna be a bunch of dudes in there because I never met them before. So I'm thinking it's gonna be a posse cut, like, yo, it's gonna be 8 of us rhyming. I'm gonna say about 4 lines, and then I'm over. I get in there, it's just him in the studio, and he's like, yo, I've been listening to what you got, and I think I got a beat for you that I think you'll rock on. And so I'm excited. I'm going to the studio, I'm going to booth, and I spit the first verse. And I'm done. You know, I'm excited. I'm like, oh, yeah. So then he looks in the booth and was like, you got more? And I was like, I got 20 years more. Like, yeah, like, what you need? Like, you know, so he let me just go and do my thing on a whole song. And, you know, we did the hook and he put it on his album. So I was like, I had a song on Jizza's album. It was kind of like validation to me.
How do you feel about that song?
Firehouse is fire.
All right, good. All right. So let's listen to a little bit of Firehouse by Jizza featuring Ka.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, for people who know your music or are familiar with your music, these older songs are, you know, an anomaly in a way. I mean, it's like you sound different. Your delivery is different. You know, obviously the attention to what you're writing is there. But, you know, the first song we played, Conflicted, represents where you are.
Right now, yeah.
And where you have been to some degree. You know, it's evolved as well. But when did you decide, okay, I'm not projecting my voice that way anymore. I'm going to use my voice a different way. When did you decide that?
Well, with maturity, like, you know, I'm in my 40s, so it's like I as you get older, like, you know, if you ever hear an old man like, yo, keep that noise down, keep that noise down. I'm that old man now, like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, keep that noise down. Like, I'm like, and even for me, like, I don't want to hear no yelling, like, easy. I don't want to hear it, like, you know what I mean? Y'all will get there one day, y'all understand me, you know what I mean? But, so I couldn't continue to be yelling on these, like, that's my youthful angst rap days are over. I did that already. It was cool. I'm transferring. I'm becoming something else. Like I want to be. I'm in my mature rap stage where very introspective. I don't need to yell with, you know, this my it's like I'm dreaming. My dreams aren't yelling. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what just made me, you know, bring it down. And I think I was yelling back in the days because I always wanted people to be like, yo, you heard what I said? Did you hear that? But you hear that bar? That bar was crazy. But it went with that line. Like, now I'm like, you catch it at your leisure. Like, you know, it's, I don't want you to catch everything on the first listen. You know, I want you to be listening to it years from now and be like, oh, that was crazy. All right. And the fact that I didn't yell it made it more profound, I feel. That's just my perspective. So, you know, I had to, you know, like, turn it down a notch and I'm just speaking. Because I wanted to be, this ain't jams. I'm not making jams. This is not radio songs. These are very personal songs. When you have it in your headphone, when you're on the train or you're just going through something, you put this on if you decide to put me on. And now I'm in that room with you, chilling. I'm talking to you. I'm building with you. So that's what it was. It's like, you know, if you ever heard the term building, like, you know, I'm building, like two people talking and exchanging ideas. We call it in the hood, we call it building. It's like, that's what I'm doing. I'm building with you in these songs. So I had to turn it down.
You also began producing yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Salute to whoever started that. That's fine.
Right over there. You started producing your own beats as well. Coming into it relatively late in the game, but how did that benefit you, you think? Because, you know, some of the sort of things that we've discussed actually this week, you know, at the Academy have related to that, how you can not know the right way to do things or the traditional way to do things, and in a way that's giving you a fresher perspective. Is that how you felt?
Oh, definitely. I came into this as an 8-year-old, wanting to be the illest MC ever, like, you know, and after time, it's like I just wanted to be a writer. I just wanted to write rhymes. That's all I wanted to do. But it takes more than just writing rhymes to be an MC nowadays in 2016 and forever on, you know. So I couldn't just write rhymes and thinking that I'm going to be heard, you know. So after chasing people for beats, like, and then getting into the beat game, like, yo, that beat is, you know, you go to a producer and they got a beat that's really, really, really good. They're not giving it to me. They're gonna give it to the person that they're gonna make that beat heard. Like, and I can't even fault them on that. That's if me and Kanye are in the same room and this producer got a beat and me and Kanye say I like that, who you think he giving that beat to? Because Kanye is gonna make it where the world is gonna hear it. That producer is now gonna in turn get more work. So I understand this, but I'm not in that game though. Like I'm not trying to play your beat game. So I'm gonna make my own, so that now Kanye won't hear my beat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I won't have to be battling with him for my beat so I make my own beats, then I rhyme to my own beats. So if I make something that's dope, I'm the only one sitting on it knowing that I'm making something that's dope. And then it just got to that point that I just didn't want to, I wanted to be more self-reliant. So that's where that came from.
How do you decide what works best for your voice, for your delivery, and for your subject matter?
Well, there's a certain aesthetic I'm looking for. I like dark, you know what I mean? I've always written from dark places. You know, it was me escaping darkness that made me write. So I'm looking for tones that could just complement what I'm doing. Like, you know, my voice is kind of lower, sometimes it's raspy, you know, this, that, and the third. So, you know, I'm looking for tones. I'm not trying to yell over beats. You know, I'm trying to be, you know, I've said it before, like, a beat's not done until I'm the last instrument on it, you know? So I want to be the one that just complements the beat. So I'm not, you know, certain things I'm looking for. I can't even tell you what I'm looking for. Like, just like, you know, all the artists in the room right now, you don't know what you're looking for. You just know when you have it, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm like. When I know I have it, that's when all of a sudden I shut down and I'm like, I become the MC that I wanted to become.
Let's listen to something from the album Grief Pedigree. This track is entitled Vessel.
This is the Skyline. Superhuman.
Dope. Thank you. Yeah, that's one of my, I like that joint. That's one of my favorite joints, man. That wrote itself, really, basically.
Why is that one of your favorites?
I don't know, it's just the points that I was touching. Like, I remember writing that one, like, being very happy with that, you know, when I was in my room writing that one. So it's just something about it. I feel that one. That's one of the ones I like performing. I'm into that one heavy.
This might be God's that's speaking. It's just my mouth moving.
Yeah. I mean, you know, like, I'm not under the guys like, yo, it's me. I'm so dope. Like, you know, like, I know some of these lines that I get and some of the stuff that I come, like, this came from somewhere else. Like, you know, so, you know, like I said, it's, you know, this might be God speaking, just my mouth is moving. So I'm not, you know, like, it's not me. I'm dope. You know what I mean? I'm so talented. Like, I'm not that dude. You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff, I'm sure, is gifts. Like, you know, I wake up with rhymes sometime. Like, that ain't me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a rhyme. Like, wherever it came from, whoever your supreme being you believe it is, you know, it came from somewhere. So that's why I said that. Thank you, man. Thank you. Too kind. Can I take y'all with me to my shows, man? Yeah. All right.
You don't do shows, though.
I did. Yeah, I don't do shows. You're right. So forget it. You're right. I don't do shows.
No, why? Well, I'm curious to know, though. Why don't you do shows? Is it because you have some sort of shyness as far as performing, or is this what you feel is the best mode of presentation?
Well, there's a lot of reasons why I don't do shows. One is I don't know if this is show music. You know, that's one. That's just me. Like, this is personal music. Like, you know, for now, you know what I'm saying? I know some people want to see me perform And I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this for the people. But for now, it's like, I just don't know if this is that kind of, like, I don't, if you're not into me, then you won't understand what I'm saying. But if anybody in here listens to my music, I know this is something that's very personal, because it's personal for me. So if you're into my sound, then it's like, do you see yourself in a party like that? Or, listening to my stuff, like, or, listen, I did a couple shows, right? So I had a nice show in, like, I did the Pitchfork Festival a couple years back. And it was great. The people were great, but they were all looking at me like this. And not that they weren't happy, because after the song was over, then they clapped and all that. But it's just like, it just felt weird to me. Like, did I just drag these people out here to be all somber? Like, they could have did that shit in their house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm bringing you out here to actually maybe make you cry. I don't want to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's it.
You mentioned duality in your writing, which is this recurring thing throughout. And I think one interesting way that manifests itself in what you do is just the wordplay. And using the same word, but phonetically sounding the same, but it's two different words. Is it something you can kind of, I know this might be very specific, but is it something you can kind of break down? Because this writing thing is your passion. And is there a way for you to sort of explain that component of it, to those of us who don't write rhymes, and how tricky that is to do?
Well, it's to be an MC, well, to be a lyricist, that, there's a lot of MCs, but to be a lyricist, it's about, you ever heard the term, he got bars, he got bars. You might have heard that, he got bars, he got bars. What that means is, like, he says something very, very slick and very profound in that one or two lines that was, like, crazy. And I want that. I want, like, as growing up listening to hip hop, I heard a lot of, like, slick lines, and it was like, yo, wow, how'd he come up with that? How'd he come up with that? I wanted to be that dude for the listeners now. Like, yo, that shit was incredible. How'd he come up with that? Or, yo, that was so deep. It meant it had, like, it was a triple entendre. Like, that's what everybody's looking for, the quadruple entendre. Like, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So that's what I'm trying to do that, but, so in the rhymes, in the wordplay of it, I'm trying to think of something just so slick, but still be relevant to what I'm saying. I'm not just trying to say, there's a lot of MCs that they just rhyming to rhyme. Like, they're rapping to give you those double and triple entendres in just a song. I'm trying to, in just like rhymes, I'm trying to do it in the context of what I do, so that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know if I explained that right.
Do you have any specific examples of line wordplay like that how that would work?
I'd rather them, like, they'll just find it. Yeah, I like people to, because I don't want to tell. That's the one thing I don't want to annotate my rhymes, because you might hear something that is incredible to you, and I don't want to fuck that up by saying, I really said this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just like the thing I always say all the time is, like, like, when you're looking at a painting or a sculpture, I don't have Leonardo da Vinci telling me, well, this is what I was trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to look at and get from what I want. Like, yo, this shit is beautiful. Like, and whatever the feelings and what I think of it as when I'm looking at it, that's what I want y'all to have. So when you listening to me, I don't want to be in your back of your head like, nah, I said this right here. And, yo, listen, wait, it's coming right now. This is crazy. This. Like, nah, I want you to just appreciate it. Hate it, love it, hate it, whatever, how it is, but I want it to unfold to you as it unfolds to you. So if I tell you a line right now, I'm gonna fuck up a song for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They be like, oh, but yo. So I don't want to do that.
But that makes sense, though, because it is a discovery process with listening to your music, because it requires...
It requires listen, I'm asking a lot of my listeners, and I thank them, but I'm asking you to sit down, cut the lights off, and just listen. Like, yo, cut your phone off, cut the lights off, tell nobody don't mess with you for the next half an hour, and just listen. So that's a lot, especially in this instant gratification time. you know, so it's like kind of hard. Like, so it's like I'm just asking people to do something that they really don't have, they're not used to doing right now. You know, this is what I used to do. See, me and Jeff, we dating ourselves. Like, we used to have headphones, be on the train with a CD, with a tape, and that tape would just go and go and go while you on your ride to your train. I'm not fast forwarding that tape because it makes fast forward and reversing drains the batteries. So we know that. So you listening to songs that you might not listen to, and that song that you hated, by the time you went from Rockaway Avenue to 42nd Street, that song wasn't that bad. And then you listening to it again and again, and then you hearing things that the person said, as opposed to now where, you know, you get 30 seconds. If you're gonna buy that, am I gonna buy this song? 30 seconds, I don't like that song. Like, okay, I like that song. Oh no, I don't like that song. So it's like we had to listen to whole albums and whole songs to ascertain whether we liked it or not. And it was more of a complete thing. So I think I'm going off on a tangent, so I'm gonna chill.
I'd like to play video number 2, if we could, just to sort of also shed some light on the self-sufficiency of yours. In addition to making the music, producing the music, rhyming, you distribute the music, you direct the videos. This is a very DIY
You making
operation.
Me sound like I'm somebody, man. Yeah, well, I had to do that. Like, you know, I had to. Of course, I wanted to write the rhymes. Then I had to make the beats, so I didn't have to ask any producers for any beats. Then I'm looking like, you know, I'm sitting home with my wife, and we're like, yo, all right, we did the album. Like, how I make people listen to this now? So like, yo, let's make a video. So I'm calling people. Well, it wasn't let's make a video. Let's get a video done. I'm calling people like, yo, can you do a video? 30 grand, 30,000 for a video. I'm like, I'm not a rich man. So now I'm like, can we shoot a video? So, you know, my wife is amazing, B. So she bought a camera. She went out, had her in the middle of the night in these hoods, like, you know what I'm saying? Like shooting videos with me. And, you know, we took it home, edited it. It was like, we looked at each other like, is this good? I guess it's good. Let's just put it on YouTube, you know? And then, you know, a couple people started, you know, checking it out. And then, you know, things happen.
This is actually from the Night's Gambit. The track is entitled Peace Aki, and the music video by Ka. So let's check it out.
Thank you, thank you.
If the music, as you prefer people to listen to it, is without any distraction, I mean, is it counterintuitive in a way to produce a visual accompaniment to it?
Well, you're right. But that was so that people could know who the hell I am. Like, I still would like more people to acknowledge the music. And to, like, I want people that need it to find it. So if I didn't do any visuals for it, then it's probably a lot of people that won't find it. You know, like, I'm one of those artists that you discover, like, you know, haphazardly, you're going through YouTube and like, oh, what's this? Boom, okay. But so I'm doing videos so that people could find out about me. So I got 20-something videos now. Maybe one of them might be linked to one of your favorite videos, and you stumble upon it and you like it or not. So that's what it's for.
I think the line that always stands out to me in this is pain in the spoken form.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling like I'm doing. Like I'm probably depressed, probably, who knows? And I haven't sat with anybody, but you know, if you listen to the music, you'll be like, yeah, this dude is depressed. But that's what I'm doing. I feel like, you know, I'm pain in the spoken form. Like that's what I'm giving you. I've got 5 albums of pain, you know what I mean, in the spoken form. So that's feel like this is definitely that's my lane, that's my pocket. Like, if you come into me for party songs, don't come to me. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, if you're like, I love my music, like very exciting, and I'm not your dude, all right? I'm not him. You just lost your uncle, your favorite uncle, and you about to start, like, you just want to know, like, that can somebody get through this pain? Yes, you listen to me, and I've been through that, and we get through it together. That's what I feel like I am.
I mean, you've done a lot of this on your own. You have started to sort of widen your circle a little bit in terms of collaboration. Everybody in this room is collaborating just with people they've never met before.
Which is dope.
How are you able to build the trust of who you work with?
I only do music. My music is super personal. I only do music with people I consider friends. That's just a decision that I made. I've become really close friends with Rock Marcy. If anybody who knows my music, I'm sure they know his. A really good brother. He helped me out a lot. I also did an album with a friend of mine now. His name is DJ Preservation. I call him Prez. We did an album together where he did all of the music and I was rhyming. We called ourselves Dr. Yen Lo. The name of the album was Days with Dr. Yen Lo. So that's how I feel like I can't do songs with email me this song, email me the beat. I can't do that. I have to be able to communicate and be friends with a person. That's just what I want to. That's what I want to do. I know music is forever. I know the power of music, and I know it's forever. And I need to know if your energy is right. It sounds weird, but it's just me. So I can't do a song with a person I never met just because they sent me an email. But that's me. I'm an older person, so I know the young kids are like, "What? You don't do email songs?" Like, I'm like, but yeah, that's me. I gotta get with a person. We go to the studio together. We do an album or do songs. So that's how I work.
Remember when she told me back in the day, you didn't want to be the 30-year-old rapper. That was like a terrible thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to. What it was diss. Like hip hop is, we know hip hop is, it's like ages. It's like, it's a youth sound. It's a young. So, while I was young and rhyming, I didn't think about it until I didn't get on, and now I'm 30 years old rapping, and it was like, associates would be like, "Yeah, you still rhyming?" And I'm like, ashamed to say yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, nah, I don't rhyme no more, like, lying and shit. But, I had to come to grips with like, yo, hold on, man. Like, in other genres, in blues, you ain't official until you 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how you can't tell me no pain, there's no 12-year-old. Like, I mean, maybe you can, but unless you an older man. So I'm like, I shouldn't let my age scare me to doing something that I just love doing. Like, what I wanted to, like, for you guys is a quick little something. Like, are you prepared to do what you're doing when it ain't cool no more? That's a passion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what I'm doing necessarily ain't cool no more. Writing rhymes and shit as a 40-year-old man, that ain't cool. For some, it's cool for me. I'm good with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it fucked up. But like, whatever the hot genre is right now and everybody's doing it, are you gonna be prepared to do that when it ain't cool no more? And when you like a weirdo doing, like, it might be somebody right now in their house, a 60-year-old man that's still doing disco. That shit ain't cool no more, but he loved that shit. And I gotta salute that man for that. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm the 40-year-old still fucking rapping, like, and it took me a long time and support from people that love me. This is, yo, man, you good. Who cares how old you are? So that, I didn't want to be the 30-year-old rapper because that's like a cliche diss. But if I'm the 40-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-old rapper that still got bars, as we know what bars are now, then what can you say to me? Like, if I'm still doing what I love, then what can you say? Thank you.
Now, you also, at a certain point, I think one of the important things for us to mention is, you mentioned you have a job. You have been doing music this entire time. But you were realistic enough to decide, hey, I gotta just go out there and have a regular life.
Yeah, I had to work. Like, and my job is, it made me be the artist that I could be. Like, I never had to compromise myself because I know that I'm able to eat from my job. I go to work. I have a job. I can eat. I could pay my mortgage. I could eat. You know what I mean? And so I didn't have to like, wait, I know my music is kind of, what I love to do, music, doesn't really appeal to the masses. Let me go and do a jam that's more sounding like the sound of the time, so that I can be popular and go on tour and, you know, make that money. I didn't need that. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm good. All I care about is, like, can I eat and do I have a house? You know, like, can I live? So me having a job just let me be the artist I can be free. You know, I could do what I want. Like, I do what I want to do artistically with no one telling me a thing. I'm the record label owner, and I'm the artist. I'm the only artist. So, like, I let my artists do what the hell you want to do, and I just pay for it, you know, as the president of that label. So, like, if you want me as your label president, you know what I mean? So you want yourself as your label president. You're artistic. Listen, as artists, we all are artists over business. That's how we get manipulated most of the time, because it's like, I just want to do my art. And you're like, you know, I don't want to read those papers, those contracts. So if you're your own boss, you won't jerk yourself, and you'll let your artists run wild with your own money. So, you know, I know some of you probably, you know, are like, I'm an artist, I'm not working, I'm not getting a job. Just know that you're speaking to an artist that has a job, and it let me be a better artist because I'm not compromising in any way. It's just something to think about if you know, in the future.
Do you want to talk any specifics about your job?
I mean, you want to ask me? Ask me. Ask me.
What do you do? What do you do for a living?
I'm a fireman. I'm a New York City firefighter. Thank you. I've been doing it for 17 years. You know, it's a dangerous job, as we all know, but you know, it's a beautiful job. I wanted to pay back some of the dirt that I used to do when I was, you know, back when I was younger. So I was like, what's a noble profession? It was like teacher. I don't think I had the patience with the kids, or I could be a firefighter. And firefighter appealed to me more. And so that's what I do. And that's probably why, you know, some songs I'm a little different, you know, the gravelly of the voice sometimes, you know, that smoke inhalation is a motherfucker. But yeah, that's me, you know, that's what I do. So.
And are you able to, you know, I've always kind of been curious about this. You self-release these albums. They usually drop in the summer. So does that mean but the music's so dark, I always associate it with the winter. When do you record? When do you find time between, you know, working and?
Well, I make time. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty nocturnal. You know, I don't get a lot of sleep. So I'm in the night. I'm doing a lot of my writing at night. I like to record when it's colder. I go to the studios when it's cold. It's that New York feel, that grittiness that you know, when I used to be cold in my house. So when I'm writing, I'm still on Hull Street. Everything I've ever written in my head, I'm still on that top floor of Hull Street with the leaky roof, sleeping in my Mighty Mac coat, hungry. That's where I'm writing from. So that's why you get that cold feeling, because while I'm writing, I'm cold. You know what I'm saying? And I'm starving. So that's, you know, that's when I like to write best.
Want to listen to one more thing. You mentioned the Dr. Yuen Lo project with Preservation. Let's listen to Day 13. Do you think we put too much emphasis on this idea of authenticity? Or what does it mean to you?
To be authentic? Or
Yeah.
Authenticity? Oh,
Yeah, in hip-hop, I mean.
you mean like living what you speak type authenticity?
However you want to define it. I mean,
Well, I think it is something in hip hop that's real. Like, is he real, or is he fronting? Like in hip hop, you know, it used to be a class. I don't know what it is now, but it used to be like, yo, you couldn't speak what you ain't live. That's the time I'm from. So, you know, if you're saying something, you kind of had to live it. You know, I don't know if that's the case anymore, but to me, that's what I'm. The rules that set me to be an MC are the rules that I've had from the '80s, 70s and '80s. So I'm not steering from those rules. So authenticity for me is major. But we know, in other genres of music, it's not really the case. Like, you could be an R&B singer singing about I love women, and be homosexual. It don't matter. As long as the song is beautiful, it don't really matter. In hip hop, I think it's a different thing. Like, they want to know your background too. Like, is he live? If he ain't live, then he shouldn't be talking about that. So I think I don't know. I might be stuck on that. I think you need to be genuine to me. But I'm OG,
Or at least honest about what you want to do,
Exactly. I know, like, I would like, if I'm listening to a new artist that I really, really like, and he's talking hood shit, and then I come to find out he's born in some real posh neighborhood, I would be upset, I still might bump the music, who knows, but I'll be like, it's about me. Music is about feeling too. Like, I need to feel a person to really get into them as well. Like, if I know what you're saying is genuine and you also true to that, then I get into you more. Like, you ever like have an artist that you like, then you see the interview and you're like, damn, I like him even more now. Because you learned something else about the artist. So that's part of being real. Like, yo, that person's a nice dude, or you make you root for him even more, So it's like, I think it's the genuineness of it, So.
Are you glad you came here today?
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to.
Well, you're gonna blow me up. Like, I wanted to come. Well, this, I just thought, like, yo, why you want to talk to me, man? These kids don't know who I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but my man, they asked me to come. I said no. Not that I didn't want to be around you good people. I just thought I didn't want to waste you good people's time. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So Jeff hit me, called me on the phone, was like, yo, I need you to come to this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? You come in, like, I need you here, like, to come be, So I was like, all right, if you call me direct, then yes, I'll come. So I'm very happy that I came to this. This was a great experience. All the clapping, I feel like, except, Montreal, it's my first time. This is my first time in Canada. So I was, I got to see Canada. It was beautiful. I would have never been, nobody called me for shows up here. Like, so it was good to see, man. It was great. I wish all y'all success when you in whatever endeavors y'all do musically. I hope to see some of y'all be like, I spoke to that person when they was in 2006. They all big and stars now. I spoke to them in 2016.
Well, before we take some questions, I think we should say thank you once again to Ka.
Thank you. Too kind. Thank you. Chill. Thank you.
Anybody have a question? Do we have any mics? Participants, please. Participants.
Hi.
What's good, man?
First of all, I just want to say thank you very much. It was
thank you.
super insightful and relative, like your approach to music.
Man.
A handful of your tracks are quite minimal and loop-based, which I've seen quite a bit with like Rock Marciano, Alchemist, Durag Dynasty, and that sort of stuff. Do you feel like those songs are different to songs with like drums in them? And do you feel like they're more so, not necessarily like songs, but more so like platforms or soundtracks for you to express yourself or tell a story?
Oh yeah, definitely. That was very interesting. What's your name, brother?
Luke.
Luke, nice to meet you, Luke.
Nice to meet you.
Yo, great question, man. Yes, the artist that he said, Rock Marcy, which is my boy, Alchemist, another dude that me and Alc every now and then we kick it on the phone. It's like they call it minimalist sound, I guess, in hip hop, like where it's not, the drums aren't really driving. Like traditionally in hip hop, the drums is boom, bap. Like you actually didn't even call it boom bap a lot. You know what I'm saying? We have stayed away from. It was before us, you know. Like there's some songs like that back in the days that sometimes they stayed away from the drums, but
like some in Wu-Tang and stuff.
yeah, some of the Wu joints exactly. RZA was big with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wish I could remember one of the Ghost songs that I really liked. That was like
I
like that.
Sleep. I can't go to sleep.
There you go. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah, and then there you go. You know what I'm saying? But we just kind of like, yo, let's laser that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I do like I didn't like I felt like I was fighting drums a lot.
Yeah.
On my tracks.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, yo, if I strip the drums down, I don't have to be so loud on the track.
Yeah.
It actually brings you closer to me because now without the drum, the percussion of my voice,
Flow, rhythm.
yeah, it just makes you like, yo, you gotta listen to me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen to Rock Moss. You gotta listen to all the other artists that are doing this. Like, and it is like it brings you closer to the words. It brings you closer to the feeling. So I like it like that. If I'm a minimalist, then yes, I'm proud to be that.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Great question. Cousin up there with the hat, with the Yankee hat. And I'll get you. Yeah, you wanted a question too, right? No. Oh, okay.
Oh shit! There you go. First off, my mom's from Brownsville, so it was really dope to see somebody else from Brownsville.
What's your name, cousin?
Steve.
Steve.
I'm
What
born
block
and
she
ra-
from? What block
She's from Mother Gaston.
Mother
So
Gaston.
she used to live over there from like 60s to like the 70s. So she
You know,
actually
the
grew up with
original
Mike
name
Tyson.
for Mother Gaston was Stone Ave.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Stone Ave. Your mom's from Stone Ave.
Yeah, because my grandpa, even back in the day when the Rock the Boat song came out, like my grandpa used to be a pimpin' mother like in Brownsville, and then he got stabbed up, and my mom associates that song now because when she heard that song for the first time, my grandpa was knocking on the door while the dudes were stabbing him up, and that his lungs was bleeding black shit. Like the stories you tell about Brownsville is so accurate because. And I don't think a lot of people really understand how real it is. And it's still like that to this day. They try to do a Banksy piece over there, and people try to charge people money to even see it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that shit was real. That's why I love Brownsville.
I mean, hey, listen, yo, you come over here with this art, and then can we eat? All we thinking about is how can we eat? You know what I mean? Like, how can I get money from this? But yeah, it was real. I mean, I don't want to ask how old your mom's is, but I'm sure she's
55.
probably she's 55. Yeah, so we like this. She's a little older than me, but she from the same town, so she know it was real. And if you from the Ville by descent, then I salute you, cousin.
I'm from East Flatbush too, so that's what's up.
That's what's up.
But my question was, who is the artist that you were listening to growing up that influenced your music, and who do you listen to now that influences your music?
Well, growing up, it was son asked me before too. I was like I loved hip hop until I wanted to do hip hop when I heard Slick Rick. Slick was like, yo, incredible, man. You know what I'm saying? I still think the best storyteller to ever do it in this craft. But KRS-One, Rakim, all the old cats, Treacherous 3, Mo D, LL, Run DMC, all that. So growing up, like I listened to everybody growing up. It's just what it was. I was listening to, Mr. Magic, Marley Marl, and Red Alert, and they played everything. You know what I mean? Now, it's not just hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because the hip hop that I need is not really being made like that. Like, I got used to, let's say you get used to, a hamburger, for like, lack of a better term. They making deconstructed hamburgers now, which is, that's gauche. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, yo, that's that chef shit. That's that fly chef. They doing that. I want a hamburger though. They're not really making them. So, it's hard for me to find that hamburger. So now I gotta go like, let me go get some meatloaf over here, and let me go get some. So like I'm listening to a lot more R&B now. I think that Frank Ocean album was incredible. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to FKA Twigs, James Blake. I'm listening to a lot of other stuff. I still listen to my hip hop. Like, there's a couple young cats I like. Grande Marshall is fire. I'm listening to, Trees MC from Chicago. Reggie P. Obviously Rock Marcy. There's a new kid I like, Mark Hami. Like, I'm listening to a lot of I still get it MC wise, but it's not a lot.
I feel it. No, seriously. I listen to Billie Holiday all day, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Anybody else with a question for Ka?
They're like, nah, it's dinner time, baby. Good. Thank you. I appreciate
Let's just
y'all.
say thanks
Thank you.
once again, Ka. Thanks so much.
Thank you.